इस वीडियो में हम बात करते हैं छोटे बच्चों को बेड वेटिंग की प्रॉब्लम क्यों होती है उसकी ओके इन दिस वीडियो आई विल टॉक अबाउट बेड वेटिंग इश्यूज इन चिल्ड्रन from the age of 2-3 years to about 14-15 years. What is the main cause of bedwetting in children? Before I get into the cure of bedwetting in children, I would list out the currently available medicine systems and the medicines. It is believed that there is a hormone ADH, antidiuretic hormone, which is responsible for making urine in the body. If there is more ADH, more urine will be produced, and if there is a more urine production, then a person will be visiting toilet more often. There are certain companies which make this hormone ADH, and they claim that children who wet the bed at night are lacking ADH, and so they need to be supplemented. There is a need to supplement ADH in their body. Now, this was based on a study which was carried out by a private organization. Subsequently, the same study was carried out by US Public Department, and it came to the conclusion that ADH is same. There is no variation in the ADH in children who are wetting the bed and children who are not wetting the bed. But in spite of that, ADH medicines are still being sold in US and rest of the world. Now, there have been instances of children dying because of overdose of ADH tablets. And the worst part is that these tablets do not work in the long run. These work only during the period when the child is taking these tablets, this medicine. Now, let's talk about the side effects of this medicine. The side effect of ADH hormone tablets is swelling, dizziness, headaches, stomach issues, and all those sort of issues. Children have died. Now, ADH, in case you give too much of ADH, it will reduce. ADH is antidiuretic hormone, which reduces the amount of urine that is produced in the body. So when you give ADH, the child's body will create less urine, and most of the fluid will be retained in the body. So that causes swelling. So there is no big science, rocket science in this. That in case these kind of symptoms are coming, then the medicine ought to be banned. Now, FDA is sitting idle on this thing and not taking a conclusive decision on this thing. Second is antipsychotic drugs. Now, as the name suggests, these deal with some chemicals which make the brain function. Now, antipsychotic drugs are kind of depressants which kind of depresses the response of the brain to eliminate the excess fluid which is there in the body. Now, I had come to realize that there is a easier way of getting rid of bedwetting in children within 1 or 2 days. Now, again, I would before I switch over to the cure, I would like to point out that ADH hormones as well as antipsychotic drugs, these do not provide any long-term relief. The child may not wet the bed while he is on these medications. The side effects are severe. Even antipsychotic drugs have got similar symptoms and side effects. These also cause swelling, dizziness, headache, stomach pain, and all those sort of things. Now, there are certain other side effects which may not be listed because that's, let's say, cold and cough. This is something common, and one would not like to link it. But cold and cough is also caused because of the excess fluid in the body. Then there are allergies, eczema, psoriasis, and all that. I think US leads in these allergies. And the cause of these allergies is there is a frequent, very common use of these tablets, these medicines. Now coming back to the solution of bedwetting. Bedwetting is caused because of imbalance in the compartments of the fluid, which I have been mentioning in each of my videos. The amount of fluid which is there in the body is about 70% of our body weight. Now this fluid is divided into three compartments. 10% of the total fluid is blood, 65% of the total fluid is in cells, and 25% of the total fluid is in the space between the cells. Now when this there is an imbalance between these fluids, let's say a kid is being given excess fluids by way of water or by way of fruits or anything, then there ought to be some imbalance in terms of fluid which is there in the cells, or maybe which is there in the space between the cells, and that causes the issue. Now the second thing is that like the statement that our kidneys are able to filter out any excess fluid is wrong. The kidneys do its best, but whether it eliminates excess fluids or not is questionable thing. It's not questionable thing, it never does that. In case the kidneys are eliminating the excess fluids, then nobody will be obese, nobody will be underweight, nothing. It's always, every disease starts with the kidneys, elimination of the excess fluids. It's not working always perfectly. It may not fail in the first instance, in the first hour, but it does get impacted. A child as young as 2 years can also have a kidney issue. Now coming back to the solution of bedwetting. Bedwetting can be cured within 48 hours. Give the child, based on his age, small doses of fluid, water, throughout the day. And let's say a child is about 4 years of age. He is not supposed to take more than 100 to 200 ml water per day. But if you have doubt that the child is not taking even 200-300 ml water per day or other fluids, in case of a children there is hardly any need for fluids, because most of the children are drinking milk, and milk contains a lot of fluids, so there is absolutely no need. And in fact, children up to the age of 6 months are not supposed to be given any water at all. And the more you exclude the fluids from their diet, they will be more healthy. Any sign of cold and cough in a young kid is a sign of overdose of minerals, overdose of fluids in the body. Now coming back to the cure, so in case a child is not taking even 200 ml, give him 400 ml on day 1, and on day 2 eliminate all the fluids, and you will find that the child stops wetting the bed on that day itself. And once you understand how much fluid is necessary for a kid, you can easily balance it. Now there was another problem in one of my friend's daughter. She was drinking too much of fluid, and he said in case we take away the bottle of water from her, she starts crying. She needs water all the time. So I suggest, now it is difficult to make a child realize that it is doing harm, and that too at the age of 4.5 years. So what I suggested is to add a pinch of salt in each cup of water that she drinks, and after some time the water will start staying in the body and she'll stop demanding water all the time. And the salt was to be given only for 2-3 days. Within 3 days she stopped wetting the bed. Now in terms of my personal experience, I've seen that in case water is regulated properly, within 24 hours a child stops wetting the bed. Children who are not drinking enough water is one cause, but these days in the presence of so many water bottles roaming around in the house, the issue is mostly excess water intake by the children. In most of the cases, I would say more than 60-70% of the cases, it's more overhydration of the children which is causing this trouble. The mouth ulcers, the allergies, and bedwetting, these are got common causes, and in case you eliminate one of the cause, everything will be eliminated. Second thing, a child who is not taking any, who is on mother's feed, may also have excess fluid if the mother is drinking excess fluid. So be careful about all these aspects. It's very easy in case of a child to reduce the fluid by 50% or 70%, and there are hardly any side effects in case the fluid is withdrawn for a day or so, because there are other food items which contain a lot of fluids. There is no actual point in having the fluids. Let me tell you that just like medicines, you don't have to keep on doing this thing, hydration dehydration kind of cycles every alternate day. If you do it once, your child will be free of bedwetting for months or maybe years together. And if you understand the concept of hydration dehydration properly, maybe you need to hydrate dehydrate cycle. You have to do hydration dehydration cycle once in a month or once in 2-3 months, and there will be not even a single instance. In my house, at the age of 9, we use this hydration principle, and within 24 hours bedwetting stopped, and for the next 5 years there was not even a single instance of bedwetting. So the effectiveness is terrific. We just need to collaborate with other parents whose children are wetting bed, understand their experiences, how much fluid does the trick, and that's it. Now you can give comments about your children's habits, and I'll suggest you give me the age, weight, height of the children, and the fluid intake, how much milk and other fluids he is taking, and rest assured your child will stop wetting the bed within at best 48 or 72 hours. And all you have to do is just give some details in the comments of this video. Like my video channel, subscribe to my video channel, and click on the bell icon so that you get my videos in time in your inbox.